Hi, fellow Muppet fans. Welcome back to Moving Right Along, a Muppet movie podcast brought to you by toughpigs.com. This is the podcast where we watch the Muppet Christmas Carol 2 minutes at a time and talk about it a lot. I'm your host, Ryan Rowe.
I'm your other host, Anthony Strand.
And today we are very happy to have a return guest with us. She was here last season for The Muppets Take Manhattan, one of our favorite episodes, one of my favorites, certainly, in which we learned a lot about New York theater and puppet feet. Guest, please introduce yourself.
Hi, I'm Stephanie D'Abruzzo. I am a Muppet performer and puppeteer and voiceover artist and actor when I can get it.
So many things you do.
When I can get it.
All right. And we're very happy to have you. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
And today you are here to join us to talk about minutes 73 and 74 of the Muppet Christmas Carol, in which Scrooge just doesn't want to see whose name is on that gravestone.
And yet he knows. He knows.
That's the thing. That's the thing.
That's
the thing, yeah.
Yeah, we're going to get into all of that. So we pick up from last week with just a very brief conclusion of the shot where there is an empty chair by the fireplace. And just like the Ghost of Christmas Present said, there's a crutch without an owner. And there's this very brief little instrumental excerpt of Bless Us All, but it's a very sad version of it. So yeah, everyone is sad.
You gotta have a sad version of any song in that point, you know?
Yeah.
That's always the reprise after someone dies. There was
right. Bring back a familiar
theme, but slow, sad, sometimes in a minor key.
Oh,
this
right.
is not that case, but sometimes that's a familiar film trope.
Yeah, well, and now that's every movie trailer now is taking a familiar song and putting it in a minor key and making it slow.
Oh, that's true. Yes, that is a whole other conversation.
So that movie trick has evolved since this.
Yes, that's true.
Well, Stephanie, I thought you were talking about like the thing in stage musicals where, you know, like Little Shop of Horrors, for example, where Audrey dies and they do the sad, slow Somewhere That's Green reprise.
That's true.
You know,
she actually sings it
on stage. Yeah,
that's true.
Right.
That'll happen. But as far as underscoring is concerned, you know, I don't know that this happens much anymore. You know, time was in a film score, and not just a musical, but obviously it helps that this is a movie musical.
Mm-hmm.
You'd have these themes, right? You know, you think about Star Wars, and there's Leia's theme and Vader's theme and the Imperial March,
right.
And those are things that are woven into the score of the film, and at different points there may be a variation on those themes.
Yeah, and you start to identify them with characters or scenarios.
And now, you know, you have so many movies where it's either needle drop moments where you have existing songs as soundtracks, or you have what Craig and I like to call the generic plink 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 of your standard comedies and rom-coms, and it's all very generic. There might be someone doing the score, but it all kind of sounds the same, like that plink 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 plink.
Right. Yeah.
I think I know exactly what you're talking about. I wonder how that started. There was some composer who did that for a well-received romantic comedy.
Right.
And now everybody just does it.
You know, on Christmas Day, Craig and my sister Diana and I, we started this tradition a couple of years ago. It's not a Christmas movie by any stretch of the imagination, but we do like to watch it on Christmas Day, and we like to watch the film Defending Your Life. I don't know if you've ever seen it. Albert Brooks and Meryl Streep.
Oh, sure, the Albert Brooks movie, yeah.
It's a fantastic movie. It's one of my all-time favorites, and we watch it on Christmas. And the score, I think it's Alan Silvestri, the score of that film is fantastic. It's so unique. It's so specific. It's got themes. It's got those moments. And
sure.
It's something that I miss in those, you know, romantic comedies. Now, this film's 30 years old, but still, and I don't want to sound like that person. Back in the day, they used to do that stuff. But back in the day, they used to do that stuff.
It does happen to be true in this case.
Yeah. So this is a situation where going on one of my trademark long tangents. Yes, you've got that slow reprise of Bless Us All and remind us of the voice that has been lost. Of course, the moment before that, I mean, the cough, you know, whenever you think of Bless Us All, you just think of that.
Yeah, we know what's going to happen.
That cough. Anytime a character coughs.
Yep.
Come on, no coughs without dying.
Yeah. It's not going to go well for them. Yeah, I don't know how how far down this tangent we want to go, but when you said that about the repeating themes, I did think of Babylon, which that movie does have a recurring theme that starts out very wacky and jaunty, and then it comes back later in the movie and is rearranged to be sad.
I hadn't noticed
To evoke
the
other emotions. Yeah.
I had so many other things that I was thinking, fuming, pondering about.
We could do an entire episode on
or
Babylon.
sort of went out the window.
Yeah.
I'd have to watch it again with that in mind if I have another 3 hours to.
That's the thing. Yeah.
Spare.
Right.
Yeah.
I haven't seen it.
Well, anyway.
I have 3 hours to spare.
Yeah, it is.
And,
It is
and,
quite
and,
long.
and slight spoiler. It's 30 minutes before you see the opening card.
Yeah,
Title card.
I thought that was
30
awesome.
minutes
Though.
cold open. It made me.
Is that right?
Like, I wanted to applaud when that happened. Though.
That made me angry.
Really?
That made me so angry.
I just thought that was such a bold move.
Okay, bold is one word for it. Indulgent is another word for it.
Because so many movies don't even have a title card anymore. It's like, you think there's not going to be a title card? Boom, here it is. Surprise.
Right.
They put it at the end a lot of times now.
Right, yeah.
Yes, they do. They do.
And I say now, but like Gangs of New York has that. That movie's
Yeah.
20 years old. You know what
Right.
I mean? Like I say, it still feels new, but it's not new.
Yeah.
That trend, I mean.
It is always interesting to see something different like that. But then when you think about the rest of the film in the context of the rest of the film, it does seem like, oh, come on.
No, I won't try to change your mind because that movie is insane. But
I mean,
anyway.
look, my mind could be changed eventually, but in the moment when that came up and we paused it just to see, wait, how many minutes has it been?
Yeah.
31 minutes. I just went, what?
Yeah.
What? Then I got a snack. As long as we had paused the
You
movie.
might as well, yeah.
You know, the screener, by the way.
You got it, right.
was in theaters, but we
Sure,
were watching a for your consideration screener.
Sure.
Oh yeah, paused it and yeah.
Yeah. So
Now I'm so far off the tangent.
Oh, sorry, I didn't
you were
wanna-
no, that's right. You were talking about the theme.
yeah, the chair, the empty chair and the crutch without an owner. We just see a little bit of that before.
Yeah.
Thank you. Before we move on, well, actually, though, I did want to just note, Stephanie, when I asked you about what minutes you might want to talk about for this podcast, you specifically said that you wanted to choose a clip that nobody else would want, and I think you chose a winner here.
Yeah.
Because it opens with everybody sad that Tiny Tim is dead, and it's not going to get any happier from here. So that was a good choice.
Someone's got to do it, and
Yeah.
since I am the queen of tangents, why not? Because
There you go.
we'll hit those 2 minutes, but we'll talk about a lot of other fun stuff along the way.
Yes, and so far, so good, I would say. So then we move on to the scary graveyard. We're back there.
Well, I was going to say that it's actually 30 seconds in this clip before we have a word of dialogue.
Oh, okay.
It's 11 seconds at the Sad Cratchit house, and then 19 seconds of that slow pan across the graveyard before Scrooge says anything.
Yeah,
And that's a long time.
it
But
is.
it like obviously really helps set the mood. It's not like I'm like, this movie's boring. Get to the grave.
Right. Well, and you
You know,
also
I'm
have
not like that at all.
one of the two characters in the scene never speaks, so
Right.
it's kind of
yeah.
all up to Scrooge here.
He never speaks. Did either of you watch Spirited?
Not yet.
I did watch Spirited, yeah. Yeah. Tracy Morgan.
So they talk about the trope of Tracy Morgan. Well, he voices it. He's not actually under the hood, but
Right.
he talks about all I get to do is point. Why can't I say something? All I do is point.
Yeah.
And it's true.
Right. I thought about that while watching this clip today, actually.
Oh,
I
yeah.
just watched that movie last week or something. So yeah.
It's fun.
Yeah.
It's definitely fun.
Yeah. Yeah. I enjoyed it more than I thought I would.
Mhm.
There are a lot of variations in the way adaptations
Yes.
present the Ghost of Christmas Past. The Ghost
That's
of
very
Christmas
true.
Present is always pretty similar.
Mhm.
And then this one is almost always just like the scary kind of
Yeah, Grim Reaper
looking,
without the sickle and
yeah.
bone
Right.
hand or just skeleton just pointing.
Yeah. Although the one
Right,
that
except for Mickey's Christmas Carol,
Yep,
right? Where it's
yep.
Pete. He throws back his hood and says, "The richest man in the cemetery." Which
right.
really-
That's the
love
first
that.
one that I saw growing up. And yeah, Scrooge is like, whose grave is this? And so far you haven't seen Pete's face, and then he he
Right.
pulls
Right. Throws it back. Yours, Ebenezer.
Yours, Ebenezer Scrooge. Yeah, that's very scary.
It's so good. Ah.
Or and I guess I suppose when any sitcoms have done their versions of Christmas Carol.
Oh yeah, it's always a character from the show.
Yes, it's always a character from the show.
Yeah, that's true.
Yes.
Yeah, I haven't even really thought about those.
Oh, well, you should. Why haven't you?
Well, one of our recurring things this season is I've been listing like cartoon characters and things like that have played all the characters in other adaptations. But yeah, I didn't write down any of the sitcom riffs on the story.
You didn't write down who Mallory plays in the Family Ties episode or whatever.
That's exactly right.
No, who was she? Tell me.
She's Christmas Present, I think. It's been years. I don't remember. I think she is, because I think Jennifer is Christmas Future. I don't remember. Because it's Michael, right? Like
Jennifer was Tiny Tim. Because wasn't she coughing?
Jennifer was Tiny Tim. You're right, of course.
Sense.
Yeah.
She had the cold, and Alex hadn't gotten the cough.
Alex, right?
Hadn't gotten the cough medicine.
Right. Yeah.
Oh.
Right. Yeah, boy, it's been 25 years probably since I saw it. But no, I was going to say, Ryan, you did watch An American Christmas Carol this year.
Yes, in that the
that's
Ghost of
one
Christmas Yet to
where,
Come speaks.
Right, is just Dorian Harewood as a human man. Like,
right.
See, have you seen that movie, Stephanie?
No, I haven't.
So this is Henry Winkler as a Depression era American Scrooge. It's a TV movie from the 70s, but
1979.
I'm surprised I haven't. I'm sure Craig has, but I haven't. I'm sure he probably has it somewhere.
That sounds right. But the ghosts are all like people that he deals with in the first act of the movie.
Okay.
So then it's David Wayne, Jerry Parks, actually, from Fraggle Rock, and Dorian Harewood is the like young farmer. So he's the ghost of Christmas Future, and the future is played by 1979, and he's like wearing like a disco suit.
He shows up with like a flashy lapel. Yeah.
Okay.
It's great. Love it.
Wow.
Yeah.
I enjoy that. I would probably enjoy that very much. I remember like WKRP did it, Sanford and Son did it.
Right.
I'm sure there are a million others that did it.
Right. Saved by the Bell when Ryan and I were kids, you know.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I bet we could find a list of all of them somewhere.
Yeah, so the ghost and also I don't think they ever really talked that much about, it was never about death. You know, they didn't really focus as much about the character who was in the Scrooge role dying. It was more about,
it's just that they're being mean.
People. It wasn't so much about the going back to what we were talking about, the wiping the snow off the tombstone and discovering that person's own name, when again he knows who he's killing.
Yeah, it's the consequences for his actions. But I wanted to note here that there's no visual representation of Scrooge and the ghost traveling through time. I think it was in the DVD commentary where Brian Henson mentioned that the first few times Scrooge and the ghosts travel from one time period to another, they use some kind of effects, like they're flying over London, or the reality warps around them and then warps back. But by the end of the movie, it was becoming expensive for one thing, and also they just figured like people know what's happening by this point. They're just hopping from one time period to another. So
yeah, I feel like in other adaptations, it's usually just some sort of hop or fade, or
there might be some smoke or something. But
just those transitions aren't necessarily well. Even when Past finds him in any form, when they fly, touch my robe and you shall be raised or flying or whatever, however they choose to phrase it. That only seems to happen the once.
Yeah.
And then they go to a different past and it's there. So, I feel bad that Brian felt like he had to apologize for not doing that weird warp thing every time.
I mean, I think it was just an explanation. Cool
yeah, but that's all. You really only needed to see it the one time.
Well, yeah, exactly. I've never heard anybody complain about it or.
Well, and I think it probably would have gotten repetitive if they did it more than once.
Right? Yeah. Like, here we go again. They're warping the background again.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, we don't need
it was a cool effect at the time, and
it
was really expensive. And
yeah, but instead, the camera just moves past all these snow-covered gravestones. Scrooge asks the ghost, "Must we return to this place?" But of course, they must, because that this is how the story comes to a climax. So he has figured out, yes, that there's something else the spirit wants him to know. Obviously, Scrooge has been paying attention to this movie. He doesn't want to ask the ghost this question, but he says he knows he must. And he asks, who was the wretched man whose death brought so much glee and happiness to others? Now, here's where we get to it. Of course, he knows the answer to this question because, first of all, why would the ghost be showing him these things in the first place if it were somebody other than him?
I know. I think that, it's interesting. The more I think about this, the more I think, okay, this false build up, for lack of a better word, I think is probably more for the audience than the internal character is concerned.
Sure.
Because you look at the scene. Okay, I was going back to the source material because I'd never read the book, like the actual novella, and I was skimming some of it, specifically this section. And there's some really interesting moments in the book, like when the ghost of Christmas Yet to Come, the scene with old Joe and the laundress and the charwoman and the undertaker. There's a lot more of the sense of them being, there's a lot more violation implied than there is in other adaptations of it, or at least ones that I've seen.
Of the fact that they're robbing a dead man's house,
barely dead, know, and the reason, and that's this. I haven't seen this touched upon in many adaptations, and the reason why they were able to do that is because there was no one by his side. He died alone, so there was no grieving widow or grieving child or grieving family member or friend there.
Right? Yeah, his nephew wasn't there even.
Right, and nobody cares that people are breaking into his house.
Yeah. So then after that, the spirit takes him to a bedroom with a dead body under a sheet that is ostensibly Scrooge. And Scrooge dares not, he could pull back the sheet. He dares not to. It's already been robbed. And there's this moment where there's a sentence about he could hear the sound of a cat clawing outside the door and rats under the floorboards. And what their intention was even more disturbing to Scrooge. Like, these animals were going to eat him.
Yeah.
Alive, right? And then there's another scene where he says, show me, let's see, who has been positively affected by this person's death, right? And he shows him a family who was indebted to Scrooge. And basically the husband coming home and telling the wife, he's dead. I don't know who's going to take on the debt, but we can sleep tonight. We have a roof over our heads tonight. Wow. Thank God. Little things like that.
Yeah.
So it's a lot more overt he sees a lot more of, it's just more distressing. So when he says, and I don't think he asks the spirit.
And in the book, they can spend more time on it too, because by this point in a movie, it's kind of time to start wrapping up the story.
Right, but sometimes I think that the movie would be better served. It always makes it seem like, Scrooge is going to change because he doesn't want to die. Like he sees a name on the tombstone. That is the weird thing about this scene. Yeah. And no matter what version you see of it, it's almost like instead of who's the man everybody's happy is dead, that could be uncovered in a myriad of different ways.
Right, that's true.
He could pull back the sheet, or he could have seen, I think in Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol, you see the Undertaker hold up the cuff buttons and you see ES inscribed on them. And we will talk about Magoo.
Yeah. Sure.
We're going to talk about Magoo.
Great. Love it.
So there are so many ways that they could do it, but choosing to either point at a tombstone, or in this case, wiping the snow away from the tombstone and seeing Ebenezer Scrooge on a tombstone, there's always that thing that makes it seem like, he just doesn't want to die.
Right. And the fact that he likes Christmas now is not going to prevent him from dying someday. No. He knew that he was always going to die someday.
That's right. And it's more about the dying alone. Sorry, you were just saying anything?
Well, I was going to say, speaking of everybody dies, so it's not shocking for Scrooge to die. And speaking of TV episode adaptations of A Christmas Carol,
yes,
there's a Doctor Who episode called A Christmas Carol, simply A Christmas Carol, in which the Doctor goes to another planet, meets Michael Gambon as a miser who puts people in cryogenic chambers and charges their family for it. And then he goes back to when Michael Gambon was a child, becomes his like best friend and makes his life better by becoming his buddy as a kid and like making him a happier person. But the thing is, towards the end, when the Christmas Future part is going to happen, Michael Gambon's character is like, what? You're going to show me that I'm dead? Everybody dies, doctor. Life isn't fair, or whatever, you know? And then what he actually shows him is himself as a child standing there watching him rant and rave. Like he steps aside and he like sees himself as a kid, and that's what does it.
Yeah.
That's what changes him is like the look on his own face as a 10-year-old.
Yeah.
You know,
that's fascinating.
It's a great app. I mean, I kind of spoiled the ending, but whatever. It's still a good one. There's also flying sharks in it. So.
Oh, cool. But also just the fact that clearly, at least in Muppet Christmas Carol, the grave is old. It's been there a long time.
Yeah, I guess we don't know how far in the future it is at this
point.
Right,
but it's clearly not a fresh grave. Now, if it was, and granted, this is like goes back to source material. I often think the juxtaposition of Tiny Tim's death being so mourned and, you know, and Scrooge's death not being mourned at all, seeing a fresh grave and seeing mourners around Tiny Tim's grave and no one at his grave. But the fact that it's neglected, well, the entire graveyard is neglected.
Yeah.
It's not just that his grave is not the only one that's neglected. So you don't get that juxtaposition. But again, that's source material. That's not Brian's choice. That's just the way the story is written. So that always frustrated me.
Sure. Speaking of the graveyard being run down, that's actually one of my favorite passages in the whole book is the description of the graveyard.
Oh yeah. It's a worthy place.
Right, exactly. So it was a worthy place, walled in by houses, overrun by grass and weeds, the growth of vegetation's death, not life, choked up with too much burying, fat with repleted appetite. A worthy place.
A worthy place.
Wow.
It's not nothing.
That's good.
Yeah, no, that's vivid.
No.
Yeah. But and Brian does make it clearer that Scrooge is asking, who is the man whose death was?
Yeah, I think in this version, it is maybe more clear than other versions that the reason he's so upset is not just because he's going to die, but that his death is going to be a cause for celebration and all that.
But in the book, after he sees his name, he does say, "Am I that man who lay upon the bed?" Like an idiot. He's in his bedroom.
Do you think it's just like he's in denial at this point?
Absolutely.
He just doesn't want to know.
He definitely is, yeah.
He's hoping that if he plays dumb, that maybe it won't be him. Or
To be that cruel, you have to have a certain level of obtuseness.
Yeah.
But if he's that obtuse in general, so then we're expected to believe, how much can people change? Like, seriously, how much are people capable of change, especially at an advanced age? He may change the way he feels about certain people, but is that going to change his obtuseness? Is he, you know what I'm saying? If he's that thick in life as far as reading social cues.
Yep. And I've spent a lot of time in recent years wondering how mean, dumb people can become rich anyway.
Right. Willful ignorance really is the key. He made his living through willful ignorance because, and also, how can you do what he does successfully? It's almost like, it's like being a surgeon. You have to be detached.
Right. Yeah. Like he has to kind of pretend that he didn't hear what the Jerry Nelson character at the beginning says about his daughter needing surgery or whatever that was. Like he just has to kind of, I didn't hear that. I'm just going to throw this guy out of the office.
Yeah. And I mean, there are versions where it is more money driven, and there are versions where it is just cruelty, and there are versions where it's willful ignorance, and some it's a combo platter. Some versions do focus on the money more, Magoo.
Right.
This one seems less about money and more about cruelty.
I think so. Yeah.
So it's interesting to see those things those portrayals. And it has nothing to do even with the actor. That has to do with choosing what to show and what not to show.
Yeah. And I think this is one where Scrooge's arc is quite believable. There are some of the others, like Scrooged with Bill Murray. I don't buy for a second that he's changed at the end of that.
No.
He hasn't learned anything.
No. He's always going to be selfish because look at the way he co-ops the camera. Look at the way he co-ops everything at the end. That's pure selfishness.
Yeah.
Like, I'm going to redeem myself by continuing to be selfish. But
it's all about me.
Different things.
Yeah.
In that selfishness and hope that that's enough.
Yeah. But in this one, I do buy that Scrooge has had a change of heart.
I would like to think so. And so much of that has to do with Michael Caine.
Yeah.
And the reason, this scene, these 2 minutes that no one else wants to talk about, these 2 minutes are why actors like Michael Caine want to play this role.
Sure.
Yeah.
These moments of, because it's fun to play a villain, but then also facing that thing you don't want to face about yourself and having that climactic moment in a film and having that
a more complicated villain.
Exactly. So they got real lucky that an actor as incredible and nuanced as Michael Caine, because there's a moment that I really love in these 2 minutes where the ghost is pointing to Scrooge's grave.
That was the next thing I had.
Yeah, and Michael Caine's Scrooge points to this one? This other one? No, not that one. And you can just, it's fascinating. And that's not willful ignorance. That's like,
that's like avoidance. Yeah.
But it's funny.
Well, it is funny. And that's what I was wondering is like, I didn't see this in the theater, but I wonder, like, it feels like a moment that might get a laugh in a theater. Like, you don't laugh at home, but no, not in your experience.
I think it's a moment that people don't necessarily all notice right away.
I definitely did.
So
one of our previous guests mentioned it, and I didn't know what they were talking about at first. Mm-hmm. But when you actually are watching it, when you're watching 2 minutes over and over again, then you really notice, like, oh, this actually is almost like a comedic moment here.
Well, that's what's brilliant about it, is that in another actor's hand, maybe it could have given the wrong laugh, or it might have been played too big.
Yeah.
The way it was done was subtle and believable, and almost like you see the addled old man, hoping he can charm his way. Almost like unfrozen caveman lawyer, or I'm just just a simple caveman lawyer. I don't understand your ways.
The Phil Hartman SNL sketch, in case anybody doesn't know.
God, I miss Phil Hartman.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, he was the best.
Makes me sad. Everything he did. But that's sort of like, he's playing the old man card.
Right.
Even though that's not something that we've seen, I'm sure he has played that. It's just this subtext that's so brilliant to do that. And it's not necessarily bargaining. It's not overt. It's something that's really subtle, but it's such a great character choice.
Yeah, and it's kind of like a kid stalling when you're telling them to go to bed or clean up their room or something. And like throughout this whole scene, it's like he takes a long time to walk over to that gravestone, and then he goes to the wrong gravestone, or he's about to. And he's just trying to put this off as long as he possibly can.
Well, and you also see those moments of, again, adult old man trying to score points that, oh, the case of this lonely man might be me. My life tends that way these days. Like, feel sorry for me? He's playing that card?
Yeah.
Oh, you can tell that he's also a bit of a manipulator.
Right. He's kind of just trying everything at this point.
Well, because he's desperate. But
he
also knows that this is a spirit,
Yeah.
And he even says, wait. Is this what's going to happen, or is this what might happen?
Yeah, he says, are these the shadows of things that will be, or are they the shadows of things that may be only? Yeah. Which is also because Scrooge, unlike us, has probably never seen a time travel movie before. So he doesn't know how the rules might work.
That was real popular back in the late 1800s.
Yeah, I don't think so.
Not real sure that... But I'm sure there were ghost stories. I'm sure there were, I'm not even really familiar with, what Scrooge's childhood would have been. What kinds of fairy tales and stories would he have heard?
He actually talks a lot about that in this book, in the scene where he's watching himself as a little boy at school.
Yeah.
He talks about like reading Alibaba and reading Robinson Crusoe. I mean, like they mention specific titles that child Scrooge loved.
The books that he read.
And they're mostly like fantasy and adventure books, They're not science fiction. They're not time travel stories,
right.
But
yeah. It's still fantastical and not necessarily rooted in reality.
Right. And I think that's maybe why after the Ghost of Christmas Past shows up, he ends up just kind of rolling with it. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Like he's predisposed to accept a fantasy scenario.
Yeah, like it could be something out of 1001 Arabian Nights or something,
Yeah.
That's an interesting thing to notice.
Right. And there are very few adaptations that include the part about him reading those books. They show him reading books, but they don't tell you what they are.
George C. Scott is the one, I think, where they name drop the titles. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I did look in just to see how many different adaptations, and there are just way too many.
Oh yeah.
Right. That's the thing, yeah.
But I will say, going back to Mr. Magoo, because we watch that every Christmas, and what I'm stunned about is it's one of the first adaptations to plug in an existing character into the Christmas Carol story.
Right.
I did look, and there was a TV version of the film Topper that was the first to do it in the late 50s.
Oh, sure. Huh. Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense.
But Magoo was the first, and I think it was the first the third musical adaptation, but certainly the first well-known adaptation.
Yeah.
A musical adaptation. So if you didn't have Magoo, I don't know that you would have had Mickey or the sitcoms or Muppets.
Right.
Yeah, that's really interesting.
And it's so well done. The fact that it was sort of paving this way, because all of the other adaptations that I've seen, with very few exceptions, are just telling the story as the story and having very important actors in all capital letters playing these roles, playing Scrooge. And the notion of having a cartoon character plugged into, that was already known.
Right.
Mr. Magoo, for those of you who don't know, voiced by Jim Backus, I guess they weren't necessarily making fun of blind people, because Mr. Magoo wasn't really blind. He was nearsighted. And he just into all kinds of scrapes because he couldn't see what he was doing. And Magoo.
Right. And also on the topic of not making fun of blindness, it's very much that he's not paying attention in those cartoons.
Yes. Exactly.
Obtuse. He's obtuse. Exactly.
Ignorant, which makes him a perfect casting for Scrooge.
Well, yeah, it's funny because they don't really do many of those typical Magoo can't see jokes in the Christmas Carol special. It's pretty much just Magoo playing Scrooge, and he's cantankerous, but they don't really do a lot with his usual.
Well, because he is an actor playing it in a play.
They make that so clear.
I love that opening song. And it's great to be back on Broadway. Now yes, all sorts of scrapes because he can't see. Goes into the restaurant thinking it's the stage door, and he goes into the wrong dressing room, and then at the end, after the curtain call. But there are two moments. I think one when he sees the door knocker move, could I need spectacles? And then when he looks in the mirror as he's going out after he's transformed, and he looks into what he thinks is a mirror, and he's actually looking at Gainsborough's Blue Boy. He's, I look a sight. I must change.
Right.
Yeah. Then he and he puts on a top hat and then looks at a bust of himself and thinks he's fine.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's more Mr. Magoo-y.
Yeah, exactly. But the songs were written by Bob Merrill and Julie Stein, who wrote Funny Girl. And they wrote it around the same time, which is fascinating. And then the UPA style animation is just beautiful, and the songs are gorgeous. And for a long time growing up, it would air very, very rarely. So it was one of those things that I remember watching on TV. It wasn't a network thing. I felt like it was on, Saturday afternoon at some weird time in the 70s.
Sure.
It wasn't like Peanuts, it wasn't like a Charlie
Right.
Brown Christmas or Rankin Bass. It was hard to find and not necessarily everywhere. And then later on, when it came out on home video, it got easier to find, but it's still pretty niche.
Yeah, I guess
Not a lot of people have
so.
seen it, but it's beautiful. It's beautifully animated. The UPA style of animation is really lovely. But I like thinking about that as being a bit of a trailblazer for these kinds of adaptations.
Yeah, that's really interesting to think that, if it weren't for that, we might not have this movie. Yeah.
Well, and so many of these other things where you're just plugging in characters into these archetypal roles now.
Yeah.
It's so common now to see that. And I mean, it does speak to the, universality of what we hope will be gleaned from the story. But the fact of the matter is that it's so easily pluggable into so many sitcoms and so many characters and people. It's very universal. There are Scrooges everywhere.
Right. And just, the structure of it and the fact that characters come in and out of it, it just really lends itself to all of those different kinds of adaptations.
And even though we would like to think that everybody will be redeemed, I always want to know, well, what? And yes, they say in the book, yes, he was true to his word and he kept it. But what really happened the next day? What?
Oh,
right.
Yeah.
Because when push comes to shove, again, and this goes back to what I said probably at this point 15 minutes ago about how much can a person really change.
Mm-hmm.
Now, this is a very cynical way of looking at things.
No, well, we'll tell the audience that we're recording this shortly after the New Year, and this is a time when a lot of people are making New Year's resolutions and then often very quickly failing to live up to their resolutions. So it is hard to make a big change in your life.
It's a great sentiment, and there are a lot of people in the world who need to be visited by 3 ghosts.
Yeah, well, maybe that would do it. Maybe that's what it takes to actually make a permanent change.
But then there are people who, when they are faced with that, it's sad to say that there are just as many people who would just stay the course because what they're doing works for them.
Yeah.
And they don't care if they die alone. And they don't care what the ripple effect of their life is. And we're seeing that playing out in real time right now.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. There are a lot of people out there who would be unmoved by all of this.
Yeah. So it's nice to think that, and again, I'm going to a dark place, but
keep going. Get
we're
darker.
Some dark times. But I think that's why Muppet Christmas Carol is so beloved, is because you have this brilliant actor, Michael Caine, playing this role so beautifully, surrounded by so much beautiful performance by the Muppet performers, beautiful direction by Brian, and it really does seem plausible that this is one of those adaptations where it seems plausible that, people can change.
Yeah.
This does have a happy ending that we believe, and it's not forced. The moment in the graveyard, I just think that it is a ridiculous moment for so many, in every adaptation. Every adaptation, just because of the character who's in front of us.
Right.
He knows. He's
right. He has to know. Yeah. But we just have to kind of go along with it. Yeah.
But it is fascinating to I think it's a hard scene for anybody to capture. And I think that's why in most cases, it's not drawn out. It's very simple.
Yeah.
It's very straightforward. They don't get into a lot of those details. It's just...
And usually the Ghost of Christmas Yet to Come is the shortest section of the 3 ghosts. Yeah.
It could be for a lot of reasons. I mean, one, you have a character one of the characters isn't speaking most of the time.
That's true. Yeah, that makes a difference.
But 2, I think at some point, they're either writing the script and looking at their page count and saying, we got to wrap this up.
Yeah, I think that's...
And we're not going to cut any of the fun stuff early on. That's where the fun is. So where do you cut? You cut where it's mostly a monologue.
Yeah,
or,
exactly.
Or dead kid and empty chair.
Yeah. And just Scrooge getting sadder and sadder. So at a certain point, you can just let him be sad and then stop.
And it's interesting because what I have yet to see any adaptation really do is understand how Scrooge connects with Tiny Tim here in this, with the spirits.
Yeah.
Where he does not connect with any other child he encounters in his actual life. And I don't know whether it's, how it's presented or what he sees. Honestly, I think that's one thing that I struggle with understanding in many of the adaptations.
You mean because a lot of the versions establish that he didn't even know about Tiny Tim, like he didn't even know Cratchit had a kid, and then yet he's encountering other children on the street every day.
I mean, at that time, that's pretty much all he would encounter.
Right?
They've all got kids who are tiny. There are a lot of Tiny Tims.
Yeah. There's Bean Bunny. Bean Bunny comes right to his door.
Well, exactly. But in any adaptation, you've got that, and I find it interesting that all the things that really change the way I think Tiny Tim is the thing that changes him the most.
I think, maybe between Tiny Tim and his breakup with Belle, I would say.
Yeah, and there have been some projects that delve deeper into that. Some people look at the Belle thing as being more of a plot device than anything, because you don't see what happened to Belle in the future.
You do in the book, though.
You do in the book, but none of the adaptations. It would be
except for the George C. Scott movie.
See, now I've not seen the George C. Scott movie. See, now this seems like it would be a good adaptation.
You got it. It's my favorite one. It's my favorite. It's my favorite version, easily. Yeah.
Now, and please forgive my ignorance. Is Belle happy or sad in the future?
Belle's happy. It's basically the scene from the book. It's her husband and her talking about how he saw Scrooge.
Right.
Yeah, the husband says, "Oh, I saw your old friend Ebenezer Scrooge today, and he looked miserable."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So she seems happy. I mean, they seem like a happy couple. We don't see her kids like we do in the book.
Right.
But
I guess.
But yeah, basically she seems happy.
Maybe Belle is a turning point for him looking at his past, and Tiny Tim is the turning point of both the present and the future.
Mm-hmm.
Of what he can do differently right now, because it's too late to do anything differently with Belle. But he can change what happens with Tiny Tim.
Right.
Still.
Yeah. Sometimes you forget about the Belle storyline. And it's huge. Sure. I mean, I know it's huge in Muppet Christmas Carol. It's a beautiful song in Magoo.
That's such a great song.
It's so great.
It does get glossed over in some other adaptations, though. Some of them don't spend a lot of time on Belle.
Yeah, but I mean, the fact of the matter is, too, if you look at a story pragmatically, we've all lost loves, honey. We've all screwed up relationships, honey. It doesn't make us Ebenezer. Right. It doesn't mean we kick kids out into the street. You see
Stephanie is smoking an invisible cigarette right now?
Yes, I am, because this is the voice that you use when you smoke an invisible cigarette. Exactly. And again, this is coming from, it's just interesting to think that a failed relationship is part of what made him who he was, because that's one of the things that gets focused on, as opposed to when he's a child. In the book and in other adaptations, there's suggestions of abuse and neglect, and the fact that the romantic tangent of his life is more focused on in many adaptations than the childhood neglect part of his life. That's because it's a lot. No one who adapts the book can put in everything. There's just
exactly.
Yeah.
Even for what do they call it? A novelette? A novella?
Novella, yeah.
Yeah, it's not really a novel. It's not a short. It's longer than a short story.
Right.
I like novelette. It's like you're reading a short story at a lunch counter.
I think you should write one. You should write a book and call it a novelette.
A novelette. That would be fun. Actually, Mary Robinette Kowal should write a novelette because it would sound, because Mary Robinette writing a novelette.
And
I get it.
Yeah, and then read it at a luncheonette.
And also she's great, so that would make sense.
Sure.
For those of you who don't know, she's a great puppeteer and author. It's fascinating when you think about all the adaptations, like what to use, what not to use, how much of it to use, how far do you go, how much of the text do you use, and as we all know, Muppet Christmas Carol hews pretty closely to, at least as far as they use a lot of the verbiage, which is great. So does Magoo. Yeah. And it's fascinating if you compare those two, and I know they're not really necessarily meant to be compared. They're vastly different lengths and styles and periods of time, but they're similar in many other ways, as far as the things they focus on.
Yeah, and even where some of the songs come in.
Exactly where the song cues are.
Yeah,
those moments are great.
Yeah. Now I'm wondering, had Jerry Jewell ever seen Mr. Magoo's Christmas Carol?
Oh, I'm positive he must have.
You think he must have seen it on TV? Yeah.
Yeah, but I don't know that it influenced him. But I think that if you were to, at that time, if you were to look at what are some good adaptations, the musical Scrooge, the film of that with Albert Finney, that's pretty good. Certainly got some catchy songs, similarly placed as well. Magoo's fantastic. And if you're talking about a Muppet adaptation, you're going to look to a similar, lighter version.
Yeah, something with a similar vibe.
If you're looking for a family audience, you're not gonna use the Alastair Sim film as a leaping off point. I mean, who knows?
Right.
Maybe he did.
Well,
I mean, Jerry Jewell was so great at keeping the characters complex and making sure that complex stories were told and not infantilizing anything. Yeah. But you know what? UPA was doing some pretty subversive stuff in the 60s and 50s and 60s, which is what made them great. So to be influenced by Magoo is a pretty hip thing.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense for this one.
Yeah. But visually, it's the graveyard scene, these 2 minutes that we're ostensibly talking about, are probably the least interesting visually, because there's really not much you can do.
I mean, it looks spooky, but yeah, there's not a lot going on, like with camera work or anything like that.
Because there's just not much you can do.
Right.
And in fact, and that's not, again, I'm not saying that to impugn Brian in any way.
No, not at all.
It's fascinating how, and I guess now that I'm thinking about it, I'm just thinking about it now, it does have a similar vibe to When Love Is Gone, the song that got cut, which is also not really visually interesting.
Yeah, that's probably true of that song.
And maybe that is a purposeful thing.
Well, and I wish I had the post in front of me. Our friend and previous guest on the podcast, JD Hansel, was talking about that, where he was saying that there's not a lot that you can do visually with When Love Is Gone, because it's just this person kind of pouring her heart out, and like it wouldn't be appropriate to cut to a lot of different things or have choreography, so there's not a lot that you can do with the song that
no, you're not going to bring in the When Love Is Gone dancers.
Right, exactly.
Right.
No, or have the big brass reprise of that, and the ice skating interlude. You're not gonna,
Right. They could have brought back the ice skating penguins in the background, but that would take away.
It would definitely undercut the thing. And that's a hard moment in
and it should be.
Look at Magoo, that beautiful song. It's just Winter Was Warm, and again, look it up if you haven't heard of it. It's really lovely. It's a beautiful song. They are it's just landscapes,
right?
Landscapes. So it's a hard thing to do, but you think about the bare trees and the white of the snow, and you just have this figure singing, dodging between these dead trees.
Right.
Not entirely dissimilar from the dead trees and overgrown brush of the graveyard.
Hmm.
Maybe there's a parallel there, or maybe I'm reading into it. I don't
No,
know.
I think
But
you're probably onto something there. It is kind of a similar tableau.
mhm.
Yeah.
It's not the same.
No.
There are just thematically and visually, it's very stark and
Right.
very cold.
Yeah.
And even though it takes place in winter, most of the other scenes have a warmth to them.
That's true. Yeah, most of this movie feels very
Even
warm.
the exteriors, there's a warmth either
When you're in the
coming
city,
from,
yeah.
yeah, when you're in the city, coming from either the windows in the shops or the wood on the the thatched roofs or I can't even think of it, but there is a warmth in the light and in the mise en scène, as they say.
Sure.
And when love is gone, and that graveyard scene, it's very cold. It's very white or gray. The color temperature is similar, so maybe there's a reason for that.
Yeah.
That's why no one else wants to talk about these 2 minutes but me.
No, that's a good theory, though. I like that. Yeah, I'm just looking over my notes here. I think we kind of covered everything that actually happens in these 2 minutes, which is not a
Not
lot
much.
of things.
It's not
happening.
a lot, yeah.
Yeah, just the ghost looks cool. I think we probably have already talked about this, but the ghost is not walking when he moves forward. It's they had that costume on a platform which was on wheels on a track, so the ghost just kind of glides along, which is very eerie.
I mean, he's the Grim Reaper. You never see the Grim Reaper putting on his shoes and tripping over his shoelace.
No, I guess does the Grim Reaper even wear shoes? I don't know. We
will. The world may never know.
Yeah, nobody wants to look under that robe. So.
No. Oh, yeah. Yeah, no one. No, you don't want to look under that robe.
I sure wouldn't.
No.
Yeah, so that's actually all I have for these 2 minutes.
We have wrung out these 2 minutes.
Yeah, any other specific notes on these particular 2 minutes? Stephanie, starting with you.
I mean,
anything we may have glossed over, or
the Michael Caine bargaining, when he talks about a man can change, I can do this. It's fascinating to see the nuance of him trying to convince himself as much as he's trying to convince the ghost.
Oh yeah.
Right.
And again, in another actor's hands, it would have been different. I'm not saying better or worse, but the way Michael Caine plays it is just, I think, for the movie, spot on. Because, in a Muppet movie, everybody talks about the silliness and the fun. When you think about a Muppet film and a Muppet adaptation of something, oh, silly fun.
Yeah.
Well, unless you've got some meat to counterbalance, you can't have dessert all the time. You gotta have your meat and potatoes.
Right.
Michael Caine delivers that meat and potatoes and really helps pay off. And and the smartest thing Jerry did was get Gonzo and Rizzo out of there.
Yeah, that's a really interesting decision.
Really, really smart. Because you didn't have to get rid of them. Dickens is the narrator, after all. He wrote it. It's his story. He could have stayed with it, but I think it would have undercut the seriousness, just the genuine, and Dave Goelz's performance as Gonzo. I'm not meaning to say that it was not genuine. It was, but just the presence of Gonzo in that moment, with Michael Caine, that bargaining, having that reckoning. Yeah, it needed to just be him.
Yeah.
And so it's nice to see that you can have those 2 minutes in a movie, first of all, in a Muppet movie, and the world doesn't end. People didn't walk away.
No.
And I think that there are people now who would say, "Oh, we gotta trim that way down, or maybe we should get rid of it, or maybe it's too scary for the kiddies."
Oof, yeah.
But in order to experience joy, you must experience sorrow. Well, in order to have that payoff, and that you have to go to those places. And I know that sounds simplistic, but this movie really proves that you can go there.
Yeah.
You can
and it's a movie people love, so obviously it works.
Yeah, and they can close their eyes during those moments.
Mm-hmm.
Again, the world didn't end. And it's only gotten more and more popular with time.
Right. I should say, at the end of this clip, we leave Scrooge just like sitting on the ground crying. So we'll have to wait until next week to find out what happens next. Maybe he's just sitting there crying for the whole rest of the movie. We'll have to find out. Anthony, any other thoughts on these 2 minutes? Or do you have anything for the old curiosity shop segment?
We got to a lot of, we've kind of had the old curiosity shop open this whole episode because Stephanie's been talking about the book so much, which rules. I love anytime a guest wants to talk about the novel.
I know, you get so excited.
That much. But the one thing I had in my notes that we didn't touch on is Stephanie mentioned Scrooge pleading with the ghost.
Yeah.
And that is a perfect example of Jerry Jewell adapting the text, because what Scrooge says here, obviously are these the shadows of things that will be or the shadows of things that may be only, that's right out of the book. That's verbatim. That's in other adaptations. You've heard that. But after that, Scrooge says, these events can be changed. Yep. A life can be made right. And that's all he says. What he says in the book is men's courses will foreshadow certain ends, to which, if persevered in, they must lead. But if the courses be departed from, the ends will change. Say it is thus with what you show me. Mm-hmm. Which I love Dickens. I've said this many times. I think, right. But like, I think he's a joy to read, but you can't say that stuff out loud. You can't stand on a soundstage and say that and have it play, you know?
Writing for eyes and writing for voices are two different things.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And people who say that, you know, when you talk about the Oscars for adapted screenplays and talking about source material, especially if it's from a book, like, oh, but you're just writing. No, you're not just writing what was in the book. You have to know what to change and what not to change.
And what to keep and what not to keep.
What not to keep. But again, bending those words. Yeah, because Jerry Jewell's Scrooge does say it much better than the book does, many other adaptations.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, it's true. All right, then we can move on to our standard 3 questions that we like to ask all of our guests. Stephanie, starting with, do you remember the first time you saw this movie?
I do. I was in college. I was very excited about it coming out. We had to take 2 buses to see it. Where did we see it? I was at Northwestern, and I'm trying to think what neighborhood we saw it. I saw it with my friend Kathy Anderson, and I'm trying to remember where we saw it because it wasn't playing anywhere near where campus was. And I remember being really excited about it. I'd gotten the soundtrack had come out before I saw the movie.
So you had listened to the songs already?
I had listened to the songs already.
I so rarely do that, but yeah, sometimes
I just wanted to hear it, you know?
Yeah.
And the first thing I remember thinking was, it feels like Christmas was going to be adapted into SATB choral arrangements immediately and being sung at every Christmas concert in middle schools across the country, because it just had that feel. Growing up, you know, singing in elementary, middle school, high school chorus, and all of those Hal Leonard soprano, alto, tenor, bass adaptations of popular songs or songs from movies. That one of all the songs seemed like it was the most choral friendly.
That
got in my head right away.
I'm sure it has been, yeah.
And then the second thing was Meredith Braun, who plays Belle. Mm-hmm. When I heard "When Love Is Gone," the first thing I said as soon as I heard it, I said, she's played Fantine in Les Mis, hasn't she?
Whoa.
And she Eponine. I'm like,
Eponine,
she was Eponine, yeah.
She sounds like she's played Eponine in Les Mis. And then I looked it up and she had.
Yeah.
She just has that vocal quality about
How did you do that?
I just guessed, like, because she just has that quality. Because
she just has that on my own voice.
Right. So. Well, and I'm blanking on the name of the woman who originated it in London, who originated Eponine in London.
I don't know.
She had that same quality, a similar quality in her voice. And I know that when they recast, sometimes they like to get actresses coming in who sound like the person who came before in certain musicals. So she just had that sound to me. Because I'd been listening to that a lot in college. And I thought, oh man, I bet she's played Eponine. And sure enough.
Wow.
And I remember also trying to track down a press kit.
Huh.
Yeah, because I knew people who worked for the Daily Northwestern and like, oh, you get these press kits. How do you go about, doing that?
Right, because you couldn't just go to like the official movie website to see
There was
pictures
no
and stuff.
website,
Right. Yeah.
There was at the time the best we could do. I did live in a dorm that had access to LexisNexis,
Okay.
so I
Oh,
could.
is that right?
You could read
Yes,
articles about
I
it.
could read articles about it. That was the best I could do.
Ah,
Yeah,
that rules.
yeah. It was 1992 was a very different time, gentlemen.
Yeah.
Very, very different time.
Right, right.
So yeah, I remember it was definitely it was amazing to see a new Muppet movie on a big screen. I don't
Yeah.
remember it being incredibly well attended, and I don't know if it was just because the night that I chose to go was not a typical night. It was close to my I think it was just a couple days before I had to go home for winter break, so
Mm.
it may not have been prime family time.
Well,
Also,
we've
it did
kind of
not do
discovered.
well.
Yeah, we've kind of discovered that the movie was not as big a hit as we
It
thought
was
it
definitely
was.
not. No. So
Yeah.
that was not, I remember thinking that's not a good sign, but I didn't know, if that was just when I happened to see it.
Right.
I just assumed it would be
Mm.
packed, and it wasn't.
Mm.
But again, 1992 was a different time, and it was a different time as far as the Muppets was concerned too. And people's expectations of this is the first big thing they've done since Jim died.
Right.
And seeing the dedication to Jim and Richard on the very first title card made me cry,
Yeah.
certainly at that time.
Sure.
So that was really moving and powerful. But yeah, it just sort of, there were a lot of emotions.
Sure.
Because, oh, that's different. Oh, that's different. Oh, Steve's Kermit. That's
Mhm.
different. But, I loved it. I loved it. It was a great experience.
Yeah.
To just have that for the first time, seeing that on the big screen was great.
Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. Then the next question, where do you rank this among all the other Muppet movies? It's often the most difficult question for our guests.
Yeah. It's funny because I wasn't in a place where I was watching it every year for a long time. And
Okay.
when Craig did I guess it would have been the 25th anniversary screening at the museum 5 years ago.
Sure.
That was the first time I'd seen it on a big screen again. I'd seen it before,
Since
like
it
in
was
clips,
new.
since it was new. Yeah.
Right.
And it was really remarkable how I'd forgotten how beautiful it was.
Hmm.
I
It is
really
a
had
very-
forgotten how gorgeous.
Yeah, it is a very pretty movie.
Oh, it
looks great on a big screen. Yeah.
And it's so lovingly crafted in every way. And so I think if you had asked me that question before I had seen it again with fresh eyes,
Mhm.
I may have given you a slightly lower ranking of it because I had forgotten. But it's pretty strong. I mean, I'd put it at a solid 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty common.
After the first three.
After
I
the
see.
first 3, yeah. Well,
Yeah.
and in my order, it would be Caper, Muppet Movie, Manhattan, and then
Okay.
Carol. It just for
I think,
me, but
yeah.
that has more to do with my age and my experience with the characters and the way I grew up with it. But
Sure.
but then at the same time, and you both know this, Caper's the best movie, no question. I will fight
Yeah.
you. I will fight anyone who says any different.
No,
and-
yeah, we're both in agreement with you on
Yeah.
that one.
And
Yeah, 100%.
Good. But I mean, for those
So
of
we
you
don't have to fight.
for those of you who aren't you two, there are others out there
Right.
in podcast land.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm always
Mhm.
kind of baffled by people who, especially people who say that they're Muppet fans, who then also say that they don't really like Great Muppet Caper. But
Well,
Yeah.
then they don't like good movies because it's also just a really good movie.
it is
Not just a good
Yes,
Muppet
it
movie.
is.
It's a
Pure
great
entertainment.
musical, period. But,
Yeah.
people are allowed to have their own opinions.
Oh, yes, of course they are. And
Yeah.
we are allowed to think that their opinions are wrong.
That's exactly right.
And then you kind of touched on this a little bit, but the last one is, do you watch this every year around the holidays?
You know what? Not every year, but we did watch it this year with my sister in North Carolina. And she was the one who's like, we need to watch this.
Nice.
Yeah, because I think that she's only a few years younger than me, but I think it hit her at a different time. And also, I think that she listens to the soundtrack more often than I do. And so and the songs are fantastic, but she was just in that groove of, I know every nuance of these songs and I just want to hear them again. It's not that we don't want to watch it, it's we have so many other must watches.
That's the thing, yeah.
That's the thing, yeah. That's the thing about Christmas time, yeah.
Yep.
I mean, we gotta watch, Christmas Eve on Sesame Street is a must on Christmas Eve. Emmett Otter is a must.
Yep.
And then, we have to watch It's a Wonderful Life and A Christmas Story, and
Sure.
sometimes Miracle on 34th Street is Thanksgiving. Sometimes it's Christmas.
Yeah, no, that fits.
Oh, that's a good policy, yeah.
Oh, well, because they air it on Thanksgiving sometimes too, or at least they did.
Right,
NBC did for a while before they started doing the dog show after the parade.
Yeah.
And then, listen to me, before they did the dog show,
Right.
honey, they used to play Miracle on 34th Street because, Macy's and everything.
Right, yeah. It starts at the Macy's.
It opens on Thanksgiving, yeah.
It opens on Thanksgiving, so it's a decent, entree into the holiday season.
Yeah.
And then and Muppet Family Christmas and just so many other, and then and we sometimes like to watch Better Off Dead at Christmas because there's a great Christmas scene in that.
Yeah.
Or again, Defending Your Life. Again, things that may not necessarily be Christmas movies, but we have our traditions.
Yeah, that's fun.
I'm forgetting so many things. It's just the list.
Well,
is so
I don't know
long.
about you, but the Pee-wee's Playhouse Christmas special is a
That's
must
a fun
for me.
one.
Yeah.
That's a fun one.
I missed that this year. I didn't get to it this year. Now that you mention it, yeah.
Charlie Brown, of course.
Oh yeah.
I can't believe I forgot to mention that's Rudolph, Frosty, the whole gang, and there are more and more every year. Well, and then this year we Ted Lasso, the Ted Lasso Christmas episode.
See, I just finished season 1 of Ted Lasso, so I know I got to catch up. But I'm looking forward to seeing the Christmas episode.
The Christmas episode is a delight.
Fun.
It's so good. Yeah,
it's a fun holiday tradition, and then we do like to watch Christmas episodes of sitcoms.
Yeah.
A while ago, CBS came out with a couple of DVDs that had the Family Ties episode, the Andy Griffith Christmas episode. There's Taxi.
Cheers, Frasier, Mork and Mindy, Laverne and Shirley. Yeah, I have those too.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. Oh, Laverne and Shirley, man. Listening to the Michael McKean and Harry Shearer penned Christmas Eve at the Poorhouse song sung by Lenny and Squiggy is a fantastic little Christmas number.
It's so great. That whole episode is such a delight.
Yeah.
So basically, Frank DeFazio, rallies the gang into performing at a hospital for people with, emotional and mental issues. And Laverne and Shirley are, these are going to be weird people. And they do a little talent show, and Lenny and Squiggy sing a song called Christmas Eve at the Poorhouse. It's basically about, meeting Santa, and he's down on his luck and he dies. And
wow, okay.
But it's funny.
It's funny. Funny in context.
I'm sure it is if it's Lenny and Squiggy. I'll have to put that on my list for next year then. But
yes, like many of the brilliant things that Michael McKean did, that the song was written by Michael McKean and Harry Shearer.
Cool.
So we like to watch Christmas themed episodes of sitcoms, and there's just so much.
Yeah.
But we will often watch Muppet Christmas Carol. It's just not one of our annual must. Although again, when we're with my sister, sometimes then it's a must.
Yeah. We've also had a couple of guests, I think, who said that it kind of feels more special to not watch it every single year, to do every other year or every few years.
Oh, that's
It feels like more of an event when you come back around to it. So.
Well, it's just amazing to see the love for it growing every year. I mean, people are really, it seems to me, and I could be wrong, but it seems to me like people are more passionate about Muppet Christmas Carol than any of the other Muppet movies ever made.
I think that's right, because it also spans multiple generations of Muppet fans. There might be some people who really love, the Muppet movie or the Muppets Take Manhattan, but there's so many people of so many different ages, such a wide age range who love this one.
Well, and I think there are also people who this is the only Muppet thing they watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
They love the movie, but they might not necessarily be Muppet fans outside of it.
Yeah, definitely.
Right. Those are the people who think that the two old guys in the balcony are named Marley and Marley. You know, like
Oh, that's the saddest thing I've ever heard in my life.
it's true. It's the thing you see online though. Sometimes,
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah.
for real.
No, you're right.
There are
But
those
those
people.
are the same people who think that the word rapport is spelled REPORT because of the Colbert Report.
Wow.
I've seen
I haven't
people use
encountered
the
one of
term
those
we
yet.
have it. Yeah, I've seen it in the wild. Someone saying we had a great rapport with each other, but they spell it report because that's the way they heard it on TV.
Sure.
Wow,
On the TV show. Yeah.
that's fascinating.
I mean, and I'm not up here in my little ivory tower saying, oh, it's okay to misunderstand something. But again, willful ignorance.
Yeah,
Willful ignorance.
sometimes.
I think Scrooge and willful ignorance go hand in hand just as much as Scrooge and greed and Scrooge and cruelty.
Yeah.
I think willful
I think you're onto
ignorance
something
is
there.
an undertone of Scrooge's, and that's the internet. Willful ignorance.
Yeah.
So see, the internet's turned us all into Scrooges. And
Wow.
scene.
So there you have it. That's the thesis of this entire episode.
I tied it up in a Christmas bow.
Well done. So then, yes, with that, then we can wrap things up for this week. Everyone, please make sure you check out toughpigs.com. We are everywhere. You can also support us on Patreon. You can buy cool stuff on our TeePublic store. Thanks to Morgan Davy for our logo. I am on Letterboxd at Movies Are Neat. Anthony is on Letterboxd at Zeppo Marxist. Please follow us there. And Stephanie, please tell our listeners where they can find you and or your work on the internet or anywhere else.
Well, for now, my lone social media presence is still on Twitter. Yes, I'm still on Twitter at Debruzzo.
Yeah, as of now, I'm still hanging in there. So
I gotta hang in there because, I just gotta. I want to see how it all ends.
And what's your Twitter again?
Oh, sorry, Debruzzo tweets.
Yes,
But there's always my website, stephaniedebruzzo.com, where you can find out all about my ridiculousness. If, in fact, after listening to this, you want to ever have anything to do with me, because I ramble a lot, and for that I apologize. Right now, still work on Sesame Street for the time being. As long as they'll have me, happy to be there. Still plugging away. There's another season of Helpsters on Apple TV Plus about to drop.
great.
By the time
Awesome,
this
love it.
airs, all of the Helpsters we shot will be out in the world. And still working on Donkey Hodie on PBS Kids.
Awesome.
Yeah, having a good time there.
As I mentioned to you before we were recording, my kids, especially my son, my 4-year-old, just loves that show so much, and I do too. Like it's so much fun to watch. So great job.
Thank you. That's so nice to hear. Duck Duck, I think, is officially my all-time favorite character that I've ever played.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I could play her forever, as long as
Sure.
But the only problem is it's very fatiguing on my ring finger.
It's one of those.
Use a
It's just your
trigger.
finger.
She has a little mouth.
And
Yeah.
Oof.
there's no way to actually build up that muscle because it's not really a muscle. So I fatigue very quickly if I'm doing a big, long thing. She's very forgivable, don't have to do one lip flap for every syllable. You can get real loosey-goosey with her and you buy it on that character. But even still, if there is a downside, it's that. But even with that downside, I love her. I love her so much. I'm so lucky that the spiffy folks let me be me, and the Fred Rogers people let me be me, and it's a great group of people I get to work with.
Sure, and if listeners want a specific recommendation for a Duck Duck episode, there's one called Lavender Lights where Duck Duck doesn't want to go in the spaceship, and has to overcome her fear of going in the spaceship, and it rules. I've seen it a dozen times at least, and I enjoyed it every time.
Much. Oh, that means so much to me.
I'm gonna go seek that one out for sure.
Oh, thanks.
Gotta watch it, Ryan.
Yeah.
There's another one that I enjoy is when Harriet Elizabeth Cow, who I also play, invents a swooperino and Duck Duck wants to learn how to ride it, and she just can't get it, and she gets frustrated. And anytime Duck Duck gets frustrated, I love playing that. There's another one called Bye Bye Book where
oh, yep.
She has
I've seen that one a bunch of times.
Yeah, she has a book swap box, like those free little libraries. And Donkey takes a book that she happens to like and is just hovering over Donkey, waiting for her to finish that book. Because she wants to share her books, you know. She take the book, but she really wants to have that book back, and she's conflicted. So anytime I can play a conflicted character or a frustrated character, it's the best.
Yeah, and that, I mean, that, I'm sure that's very, kids can probably identify with that, because I can think of a few young children I know who would probably feel the same way in that situation.
Well, and you know, not to pull her out, but
I just got to say, first of all, it's a character who I just, I tell it like it is. It's very straightforward. I'm not going to beat around the bush. If I'm frustrated about something, I'm going to come out and say it, and that is fun for me. It is satisfying. It just is.
So yeah, you can see how that's a fun now, and she's good in small doses too, which people are aware of.
All right, well that's fantastic. Everybody should watch Donkey Hodie. Like, stop listening to this podcast right now and go watch that show.
Fire it up. PBSkids.org. Fire it up. Yeah.
And listeners, we love positive reviews online. We've seen a couple of those trickling in recently. We do check them periodically. We love to see them. And also, listeners, if you can please tell everyone you know about this show, and join us again next week for another episode of Moving Right Along. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.